Men and women of the Federal Law Enforcement Foundation, thank you so very much for recognizing me and, by extension, the warriors of the Special Operations community for their service and their leadership to this nation. Also joining me today is my Command Sergeant Major Chris Ferris, who represents all the enlisted men and women of Special Operations. And he is a soldier of unparalleled courage who has been by my side for 3 years. Chris, will you please stand? For me to receive the National Leadership Award from the men and women of the law enforcement community whom I hold in such high esteem. The first time I saw this magnificent city, I was 7 years old. It was 1963 and I had just arrived from Europe on an ocean liner, the SS United States. My father was an Air Force officer who had been stationed in France for 4 years, and this was to be my first memory of America. In France in 1963, we had no television, and all I knew of America I had learned from listening to the radio or reading comic books. But what I knew for certain was that New York City represented all that was good about this nation. The buildings that reached to the sky, the lady at the entrance of the harbor who welcomed those yearning to breathe free, the diversity of culture and spirit that made this country so great. And at 7 years old, with an imagination forged by comic books, I knew that in this metropolis there lived a man who wore a uniform and protected all that we cherished, all that was American. As the ship docked, I was manning the rails, hoping to catch a flash of the red S as he bound from building to building. But as the days went by, my disappointment in not seeing the Cape Crusader grew. Toward the end of the trip, my father and I were walking along Broadway, and he must have sensed that something wasn't right. When I finally confessed that I had hoped to see Superman, the hero who protected this great empire city, he smiled, pointed to one of New York's finest and said, "Son, that's the man that protects New York City." Since then, I have found that in every town, every city, and every state, there are supermen and superwomen. And like those of us in the military who serve, we are bound by a common bond, a bond to protect and defend the American people. Never was that bond more evident to me than on June 11, 2010, when I had the honor of leading the funeral procession for Army Specialist Jonathan Penny. Specialist Penny was an Army Ranger, a medic, who was killed in Afghanistan while rushing to the aid of a wounded soldier. The funeral was held in Savannah, Georgia, and following the service at the church, 2 platoons of Army Rangers formed up in military column, and with this old sailor leading the way, we walked from the chapel through the streets of Savannah to our final stop on River Street. Along the way, state and local policemen, county sheriffs, highway patrolmen, U.S. Marshals, and their counterparts in the fire departments lined the streets. As we passed, they came to rigid attention, saluted, and paid their final respects. They didn't know Ranger Penny, but they knew what he stood for, they knew what he fought for, and they knew what he died for. They knew because, like Ranger Penny, the men and women who wore the uniform or carried the badge understood the sacrifice of this young Ranger. They knew because every day tens of thousands of law enforcement professionals grab their badges, put on their uniforms, strap on their weapons, get in their patrol cars, and move out to make the streets and the towns and the cities and the states safe for our families. They knew because somewhere in their career, one of their fellow officers had died in the line of duty, protecting what we hold so very dear. They knew because the military and law enforcement have a bond that is forged in the service of our country, an unbreakable bond that matters not whether you are a cop on the beat or a soldier on patrol. The procession ended at a tavern called Kevin Berry's, a favorite watering hole for the Army's Rangers of the 1st Battalion of the 75th Regiment. On the wall in the bar hangs the pictures of dozens of Rangers, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Air Commandos, as well as police officers Willie Smith and Mark McPhail, all who were killed in the line of duty. But we had ended the funeral procession at Kevin Berry's not to wallow in our grief, but to celebrate our good fortune at being Americans, to recognize that the sacrifice of Ranger Penny and so many like him in the military and in the service of law enforcement was worth it. Even if it meant that we had to make the long walk from the church to the tavern time and time again. All of us who are sworn to support and defend the Constitution, all of us who must uphold the laws of the land and protect our citizens have an appreciation for this country that goes deeper than the average American. All of us who protect this nation must deal with the great troubles of life. For you, law enforcement means the mean streets and the back alleys of our towns and cities. For those of us in the military, it is the enemies of our republic who want to destroy that which is true and pure about our country. But we in the service of our nation also see the greater good of life, the incredible courage of the average man on the street who comes to the rescue of thousands in a crumbling tower, the strength of the families that support our fallen policemen, firefighters, and soldiers, the honor and dignity that is bestowed on those who have paid the ultimate price. While we may bear the brunt of dealing with life's ugliness, we are also blessed to be witness to its finest moments. Such is the nature of service to our country. In my time as a Navy SEAL, I have been extremely fortunate to have worked with the finest law enforcement professionals in the world. Men and women from state and local police forces, port authorities, Customs and Border Patrol, sheriffs, marshals, the Bureau of Justice, DEA, Secret Service, ATF, ICE, and many, many more. Downrange in Iraq and Afghanistan, each of these organizations was represented either directly from their agency or in the form of a National Guard or Reserve soldier, a citizen soldier, who had taken off one uniform to put on another. In the end, it matters little where the service to the country is rendered, whether on the streets of Los Angeles or the streets of Baghdad, the highways of Texas or the mountains of the Hindu Kush. It doesn't matter whether you're a small town cop or one of New York's finest. In the end, all that matters is that we do everything possible to protect our great nation and the citizens who have fought so hard to make it that way. I want to thank each and every one of you for your service and your sacrifice to this nation. You are the Superman I was looking for so long ago. God bless you.